So I'm just going to be kind of loud and hope this works. This is Fozzie. He needs me. He's very needy. Hopefully he'll move before you need to see anything. But I kind of am interested in the spine today and exploring the different movements of the spine. I think really how you can only like see the top of my head. I think good boy. As far as the spine's importance to just whole body health, I really don't think that it can be overstated. And I would say that the phrase move it or lose it 100% applies to our spine, and honestly just our ability to continue being mobile as we get a little bit older, and also as a means of just kind of helping to prevent injury. I think that it's just really important that you kind of keep those joints lubed up and keep the juice flowing through those vertebrae, and make sure that you can move in every way that you need to move throughout your life. So that's kind of what I've got in mind here, is just a little bit of time spent kind of exploring the spine and our 5 movements. Your spine has 5 different directions really that it moves, right? So you've got spinal flexion, which would be the rounding of your spine. You've got spinal extension, which would be any sort of back bend that you do, any way that the back of your spine, the spinous processes are moving toward each other, is going to be spinal extension. We've got lateral flexion, so moving side to side in each direction. We've got twisting movements, so twisting side to side. And then I want to make sure that I've got all the movements here that I reviewed. Flexion, extension, lateral flexion, rotation. That's weird. And then, so let's say the last movement of the spine is axial extension and compression. And just compression is just a part of life. It happens as you age, and it happens throughout the day. Just simply as you're up, moving around upright, and we've got gravity mashing down on the top of our head, it's smushing our vertebrae together. So one of the great things that we can work on in yoga is moving that, decompressing the spine, axially extending, creating more space between your vertebrae for more blood flow to get in there, and more healing that can happen. So to begin, I thought we could just start at the top and work our way down. So we'll start with a little cervical spine movement. Just maybe taking the right ear over toward the right shoulder. Let the chin fall forward. Ooh. And left ear toward the left shoulder. And then back to center. However slow or fast this feels good for you is going to be what's appropriate. I have so much stiffness along my upper back and the back of my neck. I really feel like I need to just baby it. Just give my spine little baby movements so I can feel what's happening. And so after a couple of rounds of that, if you want to add a little bit more movement in there by letting the head fall back on the shoulders, you can make nice little circular movements. I try and keep my shoulders relaxed while I'm here. It's hard, you know. You find a crunchy spot or a tight spot, and that shoulder kind of wants to come up and meet your ear. So just as much as you can, let the shoulders kind of hang. So you've got your collarbone and the top of your scapula here, and think of them as being a clothes hanger. We're just gonna let the arms hang off of that hanger. And so adding on to this circular movement of the cervical spine, we're just gonna start circling through the lower parts of the spine. I've heard this called stir the pot a lot. I don't know. I feel like we could probably come up with something a little bit more fun for it. Maybe like I don't know, seated Shakira. But our hips aren't really moving. Our spine is doing maybe the seated belly dance. So you kind of want to just go back and forth here. Take a couple of rounds and just think about your spine like a long, sinuous snake moving down the back of your body. And you want to get every aspect of that snake, every little inch of it, all of its little bones. You know, snakes do have, kind of like not that dissimilar from our spine. They do have, little bones through them. Anyway, so now moving just into some flexion and extension of the spine, a little seated cat-cow. So for your cow pose, your spine goes into extension. The shoulders pull back. Maybe the chin lifts just a little bit. Maybe you kind of root your tailbone and your sitting bones down. And then we're going to exhale and flex the spine. So this is your cat pose. Your chin tucks in, your shoulders are round. Your tailbone tucks like you're squeezing everything together. And then inhaling back into that cow. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, ooh, cow pose. Exhaling for your cat pose. Let's just take a couple more rounds. So we're gonna inhale here, cow. Exhale, cat. Stay in your cat pose. Bring your hands out in front of you. Interlace the fingers and turn your palms forward in front of you. Still rounding the spine like we're in that cat. And then we're gonna come up into a nice neutral spine. Draw the ribs in just ever so slightly. Reach your arms up, 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 up. And then notice along the sides of your neck, the tension that might have grown there, and just relax. Relax down the sides of your neck. Think about like a little valley being created in between your neck and your shoulders. Take one more inhale here. Release. Oh. All right, so our next spinal movement is going to be our axial rotation here. So you're just easy. We're just going to take our right hand, put it on our left knee. Left hand comes around behind. Do not, let's do this. I changed my mind. Here's what we're going to do. Goalpost arms. That's where we're going to start. So make your goalpost arms. Draw your ribs in. Make your spine nice and happy here. Take an inhale. As we exhale, we're just going to turn and look to our left. So we're just using the muscles around our spine to make our spine turn. So now I'm looking out this lovely double doors in front of me. Now that I'm here in my little twist, now I'm going to put my right hand on my left knee and my left hand behind me, just to give my body some support. We're not warm, so we're not using the arms to twist ourselves around. We're using those muscles, and then the arms are just there to support us. And take a big inhale. And exhale, release. Come back to center. Take just a second, let that neutralize. And then we're coming back to those goalpost arms. Front ribs move in. Think about just like rooting really heavily into your sitting bones. Maybe your navel draws in a little bit. And your bottom is just like attached to the floor. So same thing we did on the other side. We've got our goalpost arms. We're just going to use our strong turning muscles, our spine muscles, to just look to the right and see what's over there. So we're using these muscles to turn us. This is movement, not leveraged movement. All right, so my left hand comes down to my left knee. My right hand comes around behind. So just for support, see, I lift my arms, I'm still twisted. It's just giving me a little bit of support. And I inhale here. Exhale. Release. Maybe take a nice big yawn. Let some of that tension go. Maybe rock from side to side a little bit. All right, we've got one more little motion that I want us to play with before we start moving a little bit more. And so that's going to be our lateral flexion. Is that what that's called? Lateral flexion? Yes, lateral flexion. So our side to side, I think that this is something, a movement that is maybe neglected a little bit. Like maybe we don't access this good feeling movement as much as we maybe ought to in our lives. All right, so we've got our left hand out to our left. Right arm just reaches up overhead. And then just kind of scooch it out. So you have options here. You can bring your left elbow down to the floor. If you bring your left elbow down to the floor and your right butt wants to come up a little bit, that's okay. Okay, it's just your sacrum moving with your back, which it's part of. So it's normal and expected. So it's okay if it wants to kind of lift up a little bit. Now, if you're here and you're just miserable, I mean, come on. Let's not be crazy. But if you want to bring it down. So I like to move my arm a little bit while I'm here. Maybe make some little circles with my shoulder. Rolling that right shoulder back. Maybe I look up, and we're just going to flow to the other side. So our right hand comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Maybe that right elbow comes down. Maybe your left seat comes up a little bit. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. It's fine. Okay? So pressing down with our right seat, maybe our left seat lifts up a little bit, and maybe we want to make some little movements with our right arm. Reaching out overhead, pulling it back along our side. Just getting some movements started in those shoulder areas. Then let's flow side to side a little bit. So maybe exhaling over to the left, and then we inhale up and up and up, and we exhale back to the right. Maybe the elbow comes down, maybe it stays where it is. Inhaling, up we go, and then exhale over toward the left and back to center, back toward our right side. All right, so 2 more little flows here to the left. We're gonna hold just for a second. Really reach through that right arm. Maybe just let your head hang. Let that be soft. And then up we go. Back over to the right. Reaching with the left arm. Feel everything opening along this left side of the body. Let the head hang. Just reach for a second there. On back to our seated posture. All right. One more thing really quickly before we start moving a little bit more. Soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, just fold. We don't have to try and place our navel on our feet. One of the books I have from one of the early Ashtanga guys states that the ultimate goal of Baddha Konasana is to have your navel on your feet. Maybe let's not shoot for that yet. Maybe we can just fold a little bit, catch a little bit of length in our outer hips and our lower back before we start moving a little bit more strongly. All right, let's go ahead and come into tabletop. Watch out, Fozzie. Are really super tight from my practice yesterday. All right. So we're here in our tabletop. You're going to want your hands pretty much directly under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. And we're going to repeat that cat-cow movement that we did while we were seated. So your cow here is going to be your spinal extension. Let the ribs drop, shoulders pull back. Maybe your heart moves forward. And you just let your lumbar spine release as much as it wants to. And then we're moving into our cat pose. Rounding the spine, draw the ribs in, draw the navel in, draw the tailbone in. Everything squeezes together. And then coming back into our cow pose. So in this sort of really safe, really controlled, slow, conscientious environment, it is very safe to kind of make these more dramatic. Just inhaling into my extension, exhaling into my flexion. It's fine to make these more kind of dramatic movements with the spine that you wouldn't want to make if you were, playing football or something to a flat back. Our knees are still underneath our hips. Just reach our right leg back. Okay, so we have option A here, is you keep your left hand on the floor, your right leg is reaching back, and you're just gonna round and tuck that knee in, and then reach it back. Option B, left arm reaches forward. So we're drawing the navel in, drawing those front ribs in, extending. So think, even while we're here, think about making everything longer, starting from the spine. We're gonna inhale, and then exhale, knee and elbow move toward each other, rounding the spine. Inhale, extend, out we go. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, back out we go. Exhale, in together. Inhale, out we go. Exhale, I think this is 4. Inhale. If your balance feels a little bit wobbly, really press the top of that left foot. Exhale, squeeze everything in. Inhale, reach it out. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Put your left hand down and right knee down. And other side. So left leg's gonna reach back. Again, you have option A. It's just to keep your right hand down. And so just curling in with the left knee. Option B, right arm reaches forward. We're just gonna do 5, just like we did on the other side. Inhaling here. Exhale, elbow and knee squeeze together. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, elbow and knee. Keep your ribs and your navel pulled in. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Squeeze everything together. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, pull everything in. Extend one more time. Spread through the fingers, spread through the toes. Think about your spine growing, growing, growing. Right hand down, left knee down. Maybe bring the knees a little bit wider. And let's take a child's pose. So child's pose is actually a great posture for decompressing the spine. You've got everything perpendicular to gravity, so you don't have gravity mashing right down on the top of your head, squashing your spine down. It's, in a way, your spine is kind of like draped over the tops of your legs. Forehead rests on the floor. A couple of deep breaths into the back of the body. See if you can feel, as you keep your head down, see if you can feel your spine moving with the breath. See if you can feel the back of the body expanding as you inhale and then relaxing as you exhale. All right. From here, we're going to reach both hands forward, fingers spread nice and wide. Toes are going to touch. Keep the knees bent, okay? So as we lift the hips, as we start here, yes, we are going into downward facing dog. No, do not straighten your legs. We're going to keep our knees bent first. All right, so here we are. We've got our knees lifted. They're nice and bent. We're in our downward facing dog. All right. So before we even think about straightening our knees, let's get our back sorted. Let's get our spine sorted. So we're pushing through the hands. We're using our shoulders nice and strongly. Our ribs are drawn in just a little bit. Our navel draws in just a little bit. We have a nice straight line all the way from the wrists, all the way moving up to the tailbone. And once we've got that situated, then we straighten the legs. It's of much more vital importance in your downward facing dog. It's of much more importance that you lengthen your spine and have everything in order there, then your legs be straight or your heels touch the ground. We don't care. Nothing's gonna change when your heels touch the ground in downward facing dog, I promise. All right, so let's inhale here. Exhale, come on forward into plank pose. Tucking that tail, inhale here. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, plank. All right, knees down in plank, and just kind of melt to the floor. Fuzzy, I feel like you're in the way. No, you're okay. You're going to try. All right, so Sphinx pose. Into our Sphinx, your elbows are going to come right underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers, plant your palms, and pull. So I'm pulling my shoulders back, got my hands like smashed down, glued to my mat, and it's like I'm trying to slug my body forward, okay? My pelvic bone, my pubic bone is pressing down strongly, tops of the feet are pressing down strongly here, and I'm just slugging it forward. One more inhale, and then exhale, hands stuck. Rest your little forehead on your stacked hands, just for a minute. Let's do that one more time. So, elbows come under your shoulders. Here's my fingers. Palms are spread, smashed into the floor, and like little baby grippies in the floor. My navel is strong. So you're using your whole body really here. And then again, I'm pulling. I'm pushing down with my hands, and I'm gonna inchworm myself forward. The shoulders are pulling way, way, way back in together. One more inhale, and then rest. A nice shake from side to side. Always feels good. And then hands are going to come back alongside the chest. Toes tuck. And slowly work it on back into our downward facing dog. Remember, knees bent, always a great option. Make sure you can get the spine nice and straight and long. No rounding here in the shoulders. Everything is nice and long from the wrists to the hips, reaching up back toward the top corner where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then pushing the feet down, maybe pressing the toes down, maybe pushing the feet back. One more inhale here, and exhaling. Let's just step on up to the front of our mat. Your feet can be together here or about hip width apart. Knees are going to be bent. Let everything hang. Clasp your elbows. Maybe sway side to side. Knees are definitely bent. Did I say bend your knees? Bend your knees. Let your torso rest on the tops of your legs. Let your shoulders hang. Let your neck hang. It's hard to talk right here. Kind of having a boob situation. Okay. Hands released to the floor. And then let's keep our knees bent. Just kind of work our way to standing. So rather than rolling up, knees are bent, our back is straight here. Hands to the legs. And then up we go. All the way vertical. A couple of half sun salutations. Just to start to get an idea of what our movement pattern is going to look like. Inhaling, arms reach up, heels root down. Exhale, folding forward. Remember, you can bend your knees always and forever. Inhaling, coming into that half forward fold. The gaze is forward, the shoulders are back. It's even nice sometimes to bend your knees a little bit. Here. Exhale, refold. Inhale, all the way up. Bottom ribs lift, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands into the heart. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale for that half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Gaze forward, shoulders back. Exhale, folding again. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands move into the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, we fold. Maybe your knees are bent. Inhale, extending the spine nice and long. Maybe use hands. Maybe you want to reach behind you and use your strong back muscles. Remember the back, our spine. Now we're going to bring both hands down to the mat. The right foot steps way back. So we're taking a nice big long step here. Up on the fingertips. Just in this nice little runner's lunge. Good old classic lunge. So you're using your legs really super strongly. The chest is reaching forward. Maybe find your navel. Maybe pull it in. One more inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. Then inhale, right leg, do or don't. Lift your right leg up and back behind you, or it can stay here, and we inhale. And then exhale either way, step it way forward, high on the ball of the left foot. Let your heels drop, hips drop. Heart lifts, gaze is forward. Maybe think about letting that right hip sink just a little bit. One more inhale. Exhale, left foot steps up to meet your right. Inhaling halfway. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Reaching up. Exhale, hands into the heart. Other side, inhale, reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, extend. Maybe our hands reach back behind us. Think about these muscles along our spine and using them to lift the torso. Exhale, hands down. Left foot way back. Back into that lunge. Again. Heart forward, shoulders back. Inhale. And then exhale, stepping back, downward facing dog, where we're gonna inhale here. Exhale into our plank pose. And and just lower to the floor here. Let's start with a baby cobra. So just kind of gently working in those back bends, that spinal extension in the early part of our practice. Tops of the feet press down. Let's just use your back muscles. So we can lift our hands. We can swim, okay? We can wave our hands around. And then come on down. Shifting back, downward facing dog. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhaling, do or do not reach your left leg up and back behind and step it forward. Again, one last time into that lunge here. Let the hips sink into it. Press into the bottoms of both feet. One more inhale. And then exhale, step it forward. Inhale, halfway. Reach back. Maybe hands on legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way to stand. Reach up. Ground through the heels. Exhale, hands into the heart. And check on the camera. Oh, good. Great. Moving right along. Inhaling, we reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extending. Spine is long. Exhale. Step our right foot back. Come into crescent pose. All right. So from our crescent pose here, maybe bend the back knee just a little bit. As you bend the back knee, lift the navel in and up. Draw the front ribs in. And then, if you can keep all of this stability, start to push that back leg straight. We're going to reach up from here. And just to explore that spinal rotation like we did earlier when we were seated, go ahead and drag your arms down into those goalpost arms. And we're just going to turn and look to our left. So I'm turning away from you. We're just looking to our left. We got our goalpost arms up. So now it feels like victory arms. Like, ugh. So feel victorious. Over to your left. Maybe even straighten up. Maybe that feels nice. If that feels super nice, you want to throw a little bit more in. Maybe take that left arm to the back of your right leg. Reach the right arm up. Take it into that nice, big twist. And then both hands down. Downward dog first. Inhaling here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, let's come into plank. And lower all the way. Remember, you can always use your knees. It's a beautiful option. Let's take cobra again. Maybe a bigger cobra this time. Maybe like a medium-sized cobra. Remember, your arms are never going to be straight in cobra, no matter how grown up it is. It's always going to be a little bit bent here. One more inhale. And then all fours, toes tucked, downward facing dog. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhale. Whew. And then we inhale, right leg reaches up and back, or not. Exhale, step it through. We're coming into that high crescent lunge again. All right, So start with your back knee bent, just a little bit. Navel draws in, ribs kind of knit together, so we've got that nice stability in our core. Think about, you've got like a bathrobe situation on, and your bathrobe ties around your middle. Think about squeezing your bathrobe tie nice and tight and just cinching in right there around the middle. And then when all that's good, maybe push that back leg straight or straight-ish. Arms are going to reach up. So playing with that little twisting action again. Pulling down into our victory arms. And then we're just going to turn to the right. Using our strong rotational muscles around our spine. Exploring the different spinal movements that we want to make. Maybe you want to bring your right hand down to your left leg. Maybe you want to reach your left arm up, up, up. Exhale. Both hands come down. Let's come back to downward dog. After that one. Inhaling. Exhaling. I don't know about you, but my butt is burning. One more inhale. Exhale. Just step up to the front of the mat. Inhale, extend, everything nice and long. Exhale, we fold. All right, let's do this. Go ahead and bend your knees. Norsandi, Utkatasana, chair pose. Draw the navel in, knit the ribs together, sink the hips, arms reach up. Breathe, inhale, exhale. Inhaling, exhale, let's fold again from here. Inhale, extend the spine nice and long. This time, exhaling, we're going to step the left foot back. Go ahead and keep your left hand planted. Just reach the right arm up. Just a little baby twist here. Staying strong in that back foot. Staying strong in the top of your left leg. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Right foot steps back. We're in our downward facing dog. Inhaling here. Exhale. Let's go ahead and come into our plank. Stay in plank just for a second. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe knees come down and sink to the floor. Here's going to be our grown-up cobra, okay? Tops of the feet press into the mat. Shoulders pull back. Here we go. As big as you want to make it, but our elbows aren't straight. Never in cobra. Our elbows are bent so they can pull our shoulders away from our ears. It's hard, okay? You're not resting here. This is like stinking hard. Inhale. Exhale. All fours, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and bring your knees to the mat. Turn and face the side. All right, Parigasana, gate pose. So we're standing on both knees to start. We're just gonna reach your left leg toward the left. And let's point our toes up, okay, for now. So we're gonna go toward our left first. So we've got options. Before we get down on our leg, everybody go ahead, bend your left knee just a little bit and pretend like you're gonna pull your right leg towards you. So I'm gonna like scooch my right heel across the mat and pull it toward me, but I'm not really. I'm just using those muscles. Keeping that, go ahead, straighten the leg. Inhale, left arm reaches up. So I've got this really strong leg, so I can plant my hand on my strong leg if I want to, or I can plant my hand on the floor on the outside of my leg or on the inside of my leg. And then maybe my right arm will reach up and over. Keeping that leg really nice and strong. And then inhale, just come right back up. If your heel and your knee, if you find that they're really sensitive, you can double your mat up, right? So fold your mat over, prop your knee on it. I've got these really handy little cushions that I picked up at the Lulu one day. So you could also put one under that knee and one under your extended foot. So now we're on the other side. And scooch it. These are actually really super handy for lots of different things. So before we get into our gate pose, a baby bend in this knee, and then push down and pull towards you with that right foot. You're using all of these strong muscles back here, right? So all of that is activated while it's going to be stretching. Then, keeping all that, we straighten, right arm reaches up, maybe coming to my shin, maybe to the front. I feel like bringing my hand to the front, I feel like it closes me off too much, right? So bringing the hand back here, it's a nice, more open sort of sensation. And then maybe that left hand is going to reach up and over. Right leg stays strong. Try and resist curling in on yourself. Think like a flower petal, right? I'm a flower petal. I'm opening to the sunlight. And then come on back up. Come off your little squishy pads. These are really super handy. Like I said. And we're just going to step back into downward facing dog from here. All right. Back into our dog pose. Inhaling. Exhale. Let's step our left foot forward. Use your hand if you're getting a little tired. Need some extra oomph. Right hand's going to stay planted on the mat. Left arm's going to reach up. Just because it feels good, really. It's the only reason, really the only reason we're doing any of this. Because it feels good now, or we hope it feels good later. All right, left hand down. Right foot's going to step up to meet the left foot. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. So we're moving into chair pose, Utkatasana. I like to do this with my feet together. You can, of course, have your feet as wide apart as feels comfortable, but we sink the hips and then we lift. So bringing another aspect into that rotational movement of the spine. So we're here in our Utkatasana, and first, hands come into prayer, and we're just going to turn I know it's horrible. Like it's so hard. But we're just using those muscles around the spine. So for 50 years, we've all been told, never let this knee creep forward when we're doing a twisting chair. Well, I'm going to tell you that you can, that it's okay, okay? So if your left knee creeps forward here and you're comfortable with it, let it. It's just the pelvis moving in rotation and reacting to what you're doing with the rest of your spine. Remember, they're all connected. Your pelvis is one pretty solid unit. All right, so now you can bring that left arm to the knee like I already have. Maybe look down. Maybe look to the side. Maybe look up. Don't forget about your hips. One more inhale. And fold. And I'm very sorry that we have to do the other side. So here we go. Utkatasana. Hands come into prayer. Go ahead and let the hips sink. Strong spine muscles we're going to use to turn. So here we go. I'm just using my muscles. My knee has scooched forward. It's okay. My SI joint, it probably likes it a lot better. And then you can go ahead, bring the right elbow to the left knee. Press into the twist a little bit deeper. Look wherever your neck wants you to look. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale to stand. Maybe shake it out a little bit. I don't know, I'm really burning my butt today. All right. Moving right along. Are you ready? Inhale, reach up. So here we go. As we reach up and extend, our spine is also extending. Okay? There's a baby back bend or a big back bend, whatever you want to do. And then as we fold, this is our spinal flexion. So we're doing these spinal movements already. As we extend, our spine's still in flexion. And then exhaling, hands come down. Let's just step right back. You can come right back into downward facing dog. You can take a chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Take a rest in child's pose, whatever feels good at this juncture. And then we're gonna go ahead, inhale, do or don't. Reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it through. Left heel comes down. Here we are. Warrior 2. So I go ahead and turn so my back isn't to you. So we can communicate a little bit better. So we're in our Warrior 2. Take a nice sink down. Think about extending your spine nice and long. So locate the very bottom of your spine. It's all the way down in the pelvic floor area. So I'm locating the bottom of my spine. Maybe if you have like a really strong lumbar curve like me, maybe you want to kind of draw that in just to keep everything neutral. Then we take those front ribs, draw our front ribs in. Our neck is long, long like a swan. And then our arms are reaching really strongly in our Warrior 2. Let's go ahead and reverse it. Left hand comes back to that left leg. Right hand reaches up and over. Are you ready? Stay with me. Both hands come down. Come onto the ball of that left foot. Step back, downward facing dog. And then come onto all fours. So we're here in our tabletop. Now, right here, we're gonna take our right hand, reach it up, come through the square made with your knees and your arm and your torso. So we're right here in this little shoulder stretch. Maybe if you feel like this feels good, but I need more. I need more satisfaction. You can take that left hand and kind of wrap it around. Give yourself a little bit stronger sensation while you're here. And then undo it. Come back into your tabletop. And then back into your downward facing dog. And then second side, do or do not. Reach your left leg up and back. Exhale. Step it forward. Right heel spins down. We're coming up. I'm going to turn again. Just for visual aid purposes. Okay. So we're coming into that warrior two. Again, locate your pelvic floor because the bottom of your spine is right there, really close. It ends at your coccyx, right? So again, if you have a really strong lumbar curve, shoop, shoop, you might want to actually draw that in just to kind of achieve more spinal neutrality, okay? We're not looking for pelvis tuckage. We're just looking for a nice, neutrally situated spine. So maybe that might mean a tuck for you. It means a strong tuck for me. Navel lifts up, ribs move in, arms reach out. And we get really cozy in here in our warrior two. Gotta be honest, this is really just the all-purpose yoga pose for me. It's basically all I want to do ever. Just warrior two, day in and day out. All right, right hand comes back to your right leg, left arm reaches up overhead for our reverse warrior. And from there, on the first side, we brought our hands down, we came onto the ball of that right foot, we stepped into our dog, and then both knees came down for that little shoulder stretch. All right, so same thing, second side, left arm reaches up and out, and then bring it through. So you've got your square, you're bringing your arm through your square. You get a little stretch action, maybe behind the shoulders, maybe on the traps, on the rhomboids, maybe the serratus. If you can't get no satisfaction, you can reach your right arm up and wrap it around, right? Maybe that'll satisfy you. It's hard to talk from here. Just throwing that out. Like, everything's all squished. All right, bring your right arm back around if you had it behind you. Come back up onto all fours. Downward dog, just to clear out that energy. Ooh. And then let's just walk up. Walk up to the front. Inhale, extend your spine, and then exhale. Fold. Inhale, all the way to stand. Exhale into your heart. Okay, so far we've played with, let me see what time it is, how long we've been going. An hour. Okay, so I'm long-winded, but this is good. So far we've played with just about like every aspect of movement that our spine has, right? Okay, so we've done lateral movement. We've done twisting movement. We've done so many we've done Sphinx and Cobra and just, standing, Orgohastasana. And we've even done a little bit of, axial extension and child's pose. So now I want to get upside down for a minute. So I want to practice handstand, and there are so many other ways that you can do handstand besides just standing on your hands in the middle of a yoga mat, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is standing handstand, all right? So we're going to start. Go ahead and start with your feet together, because in your handstand, you're really going to want to be able to squeeze those legs together. So our standing handstand, right? We start by squeezing our legs together. And then all of this needs to be buckled up, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is you are gonna seriously tuck in. You're gonna use your buttocks, right? And you're gonna tuck in that pelvis. And at the same time you're using your buttocks to tuck in your pelvis, you're gonna take your front abdominal muscles, so your anterior core muscles, and you're gonna squeeze them like you have like a 12-pack, and you're just gonna mash it all together, right? So I've got my buttocks activated, I've got my whole front core squeezing in. So that's our action that we want there. Then we're gonna take our arms and just go ahead and reach your arms forward. Now, wherever you are with your arms reached forward, you're gonna reach more so that you feel the scapula come around your ribs, right? So I'm here, my buttock is activated. My front core is squeezing, I'm reaching forward. Well, that's not gonna handstand me. I'm gonna go up and then palms face the ceiling. Keeping all of that, look up. Squeeze your legs together, squeeze your buttock, squeeze your abdominal core. Remember, your 12-pack is all mashing together, and then let go. So, what I've been told is standing handstand is way harder than upside down handstand, or I guess right side up handstand. I don't know if that's true, but if standing handstand isn't something that's going to happen for you today, if handstand at the wall isn't something that's going to happen for you today, we have some other options, okay? Fuzzy. So there's L pose at the wall. There's L pose. L pose at the wall. So the best way to come into this pose, and it's hard to me because I feel like your hands slip on the mat, but this isn't very enough. So the best way to come into this pose is you just come into downward facing dog at the wall, but you put your heels up on the wall. So here I am, downward facing dog at the wall, and my heels are up, and then you just walk your feet up. The fuzzy. Move! Fuzzy, move! This is your L pose at the wall. My hands are a little far away from the wall, making it a little bit harder. It also helps that I have like this handy dandy chair rail here that I can prop my toes on. But that is one option if just being fully upside down is not the thing for you today. And also it helps you to start build that shoulder strength. Another option is legs up the wall. I'll demonstrate it really quickly. because I'm running out of time. So legs at the wall, you scoot your booty up at the wall, like y'all are really, really good friends. And then sit and spin. Right, so my legs are at the wall, hands chilling. Love and life for just a minute. This is a super great restorative pose. It's super good if you struggle with anxiety or insomnia. Supposedly it helps with menstrual symptoms. Just like a whole, also if your feet swell at the end of the day, this will make them feel better. So a whole myriad of benefits. All right, and so then our last option is handstand in the middle of the room. If you can do handstand and balance in the middle of the room, you don't need my instruction. For handstand at the wall, it's pretty much the same as you would do in the middle of the room, except you have the wall to balance on. So you'll come down, place your hands, I don't know, a couple of inches from the wall, kick up into your handstand, and then everything that we did while we were standing, everything that we did on our feet, we're going to do here at the wall. So squeeze your legs together, squeeze your buttock, squeeze your anterior core, and then push with the hands. Push, 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 push. And then come down when you're tired. Maybe have a child's pose. So I want to do one more handstand, just to kind of get that inverted feeling. So this is like literally the opposite of what gravity is doing to your spine all day, right? So your spine is like a pogo stick or a spring that's kind of like squashed down by gravity all the time. So when we turn upside down, we're literally just kind of like, you're putting gravity on the other end. We're literally just moving the spine in the opposite way that it is accustomed to. You're dangling. You're just dangling your spine upside down. And it's super good for it. All right, one more time. Into our handstand. And you can make sound effects if you want to. I find that they help me. All right, so same thing. Leg squeeze, buttock squeeze, anterior core squeezes. Push with the hands. And don't forget to breathe. And down. Forward fold this time after your handstand. So if you're doing legs at the wall, go ahead and come on out. If you're doing elbows, hopefully you would have done that the same time that we did our handstands. Go ahead, come on up to stand. And let's finish out for today. It's been a lot longer than I planned, which is not really surprising because I'm so wordy. Alright, so go ahead, have a seat on your mat. Let's bring the legs into Upadishta Konasana. Wide angle forward fold. So here we go. And then we're just gonna kind of continue with those spinal momentum. So we're gonna start on the right side. You can have your right forearm on top of your right shin. You can bring it to the floor, whatever feels right. If you just are just crazy with the stretchies, you grab hold of that toe or your foot. Your left arm's gonna reach up and over. Maybe it wants to grab the foot, maybe not. And if you're leaning over, go ahead and maybe experiment with looking up. Another nice option is to take that top hand and let it go behind your back, or some extra chest opener. And then come on back up. Release that. And we're gonna come down over here to the second side. Alright, so hand on your shin is a nice option. Forearm can come down to the floor. Maybe you wanna grab your old foot. Right arm comes up and over. Maybe you wanna hold, but we're not here. We're here, right? So think rainbow. And then maybe if your shoulder likes it, you can bring that top hand around. It just feels really super good to me. So go ahead, come on up, and then just because we're here, that seems like such a good idea, just go ahead and fold. So remember, you always want to start this pose with an anterior pelvic tilt, right? So you always want to start like you're spilling water. So my pelvis is a bowl, right? I'm spilling my water forward, okay? So we start, we've got a really nice anterior tilt. We're just right on the front of those sitting bones, just right on the front of that, that ischium, okay? Because when we fold over, that's gonna keep us from rounding, from crunching into that lower back. It's gonna have everything nice and elongated and straight. Okay, so come on up. And then maybe use your hands. Make some faces. Pull your knees together. Pull your knees together. And then wrap your arms around your legs. And tuck your chin. Rest your head on your knees, maybe. Come on. Let your knees fall to the side. Soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana again. Inhale here. And then just go ahead and put your navel on your feet. Just go for it. So go ahead and start to really slow your movements down, okay? So we did a lot of really active stuff for our practice, but now it's getting close to bedtime, let's say. getting close to time to put our practice to bed for the day. So I like to take a block and I like to have myself a little supported bridge pose. So for bridge pose, you'll just tuck your feet in towards your bottom, hips lift. You can bring your hands underneath your spine, come up onto the shoulders, and push. So if you don't have a block, this is a good option. If you have a block, you could use like a pillow too. You could use a book, but it might be hard and really heavy to find a book this fat. So I like the middle setting on my block. So if you want to come here and take this nice, long, restorative bridge pose, you're welcome to stay as long as you want, as long as it feels good. If you're just doing regular bridge, you can go ahead and come on down. Go ahead and draw both knees in. Squeeze them both. Transfer your left hand over to your right knee. So you're squeezing your right knee with both hands. Let your knee come to the outside. You can let your left leg relax. And then draw your left leg in. Transfer both hands over to that leg. Stretch out your right leg. Achoo! Excuse me. And then, so you're gonna let your knee come over to the side, okay? Like you're gonna squeeze it against the side of your ribs. And then go ahead and release. Both legs are gonna stretch straight out in front of you. Your arms are gonna come out, maybe 45 degrees. So now it's yoga bedtime, right? So we're putting our yoga practice to sleep. Or our yoga practice for today has died. It is now in Shavasana, horse pose. Let your body feel like peanut butter. If somebody just took a big spoonful and scooped out of the jar and like plopped it down on a piece of bread, okay? So your peanut butter on bread right now. And as you lie here in your little blob, you start to like spread out. edges get softer. Nothing is hard or being held tightly anymore. You're not in the jar. Okay, you're out of your jar, and you're just spreading out on your piece of bread. So if you have lots of time, just stay and enjoy. If you need to get moving, start to bring life back into your body, and then work your way onto one side. Maybe have a big sigh. Rest on your arm, and then come on up to seat. Oh! All right. So that is the first class I have ever recorded. I hope it went okay. And in the event that anybody ever sees this and practices along, then much gratitude for that. Blessings on you, and